join us today, I'm very pleased to welcome Patrick Elliott, President and CEO of Forte Minerals. Patrick, how are you doing?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having us again.
It's great to have you here, Patrick. Forte's a fascinating story. And so for those that are unfamiliar with Forte Minerals, could you tell us a little bit about the company, a little bit of background of what you're up to?
Certainly. It all started 20 years ago when I first moved to Peru, and we had a private project generator called Globetrotters, and we kept it private with very few investors, but took a lot of risk building a portfolio of copper gold assets. So through the downturn and the bear market, most majors and mid-tiers relinquished their exploration assets. It doesn't make sense, but it's just a phenomenon. It's a thing that happens in this sector whereby they optimize production assets and relinquish all their exploration projects and their talent. And so we remain very flexible, versatile during those times. We stake those projects. We don't pay anything for any of our projects, and certainly no royalties attached to them. So we had 38 projects before long, after 15 to 20 years of generative work, and we took the best 4 projects and we spun them into Forte and took it public. So that's how Forte came about, but it's built on a generational team that we've all been together for 15 or 20 years through several different ventures in Peru.
This is a fascinating and unusual strategy in the sense that you said you didn't pay for them. Like, in a sense, if I understand you right, these companies will relinquish these projects or Correct. Sites. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
These are anomalies and projects that we recognize, usually from remote sensing, from space, throughout the Andes of central southern Peru. And they're held, and they might be held for 5 or 10 years by a mid-tier or major. We just wait for an opportune time when they do get relinquished. And 2015 was one of the worst times in the sectors, and we saw a lot of property coming available. So we would stake them the next day, and our flagship asset is Altaruri. It was discovered in 1997, a phenomenal discovery by Buenaventura. It's a high sulfidation gold system just south of Barrick's P-Rena mine. And we believe, and so do 2 major strategic gold companies that own 9.9% of our stock just recently, that this is the next P-Rena. And so we're building value, taking the social risk, taking risk in the downturn when we can now profile these projects and advance them to sale.
I remember that downturn, 2015, 2016, tech $3 a share. It was quite a time, actually, the bearishness in the market. So that does, it's easy to forget the courage to a certain degree that requires to do that. So which is the flagship? You mentioned there are 4 projects that you've kind of isolated, identified, and kind of distinguished from the remaining. Are there 4 flagship projects, or is there one in particular? How would you characterize it?
So one in particular was discovered in 1997. That's Altaruri, just south of Barrick's P-Rena mine. It was encumbered with a social event that happened in the late 90s, and then the community wasn't happy with the way that the exploration company operated at the time. And so this lingered for years and years, and 2 different majors held this project for over 15 years, and in 2015 it came available, and we were quick on our feet and able to stake it the next day. So I think you take a lot of risks there, because it does cost money each year to hold these assets and to keep generating new ideas. But 10 years later, it's certainly paying off. These are tough projects to find. To go and make a 1 in 1,000 discovery on a drill program on a grassroots, or a 1 in 100 on a targeted systematic exploration. We do take some of that risk, but we prefer not to. And this is a perfect example of a project whereby it's been discovered in the 90s. There was high-grade gold. I mean, we're talking 56 meters of 5.4 grams from surface. It's the same host rock as P-Rena. It's Miocene, volcaniclastic. It comes to surface. It just was never systematically explored. There was never any alteration maps. They took They took 35 samples on surface before they started drilling in the 90s. That was just the function of the times. But now we can do it right. We can work with the communities. It's been 4 years of dedicated effort with the community to understand what the issues were. There's only 50 people, mostly elderly, that live there, and we're uncovering that value. And we've got outstanding support within the community to do a long-term access agreement whereby we can unlock the value. So yes, that is our flagship because the discovery risk is eliminated. And the other 3 projects, they're drill permitted. 2 porphyry coppers that have never been drilled before that are in the southern Paleocene belt of Peru. It's one of the most prolific copper belts in the world. Host to Cerro Verde, Quellaveco, Tocopala, you name it. And so it's the right address to be looking for porphyry coppers, and we'll drill one of them this year for the first time. It's a Teck Cominco project that they dropped 9 years ago as well. We build pipeline projects for the majors and mid-tiers. We're not looking for small alteration things that we would put into production ourselves. We're explorers, and we'll develop the resource where we test it properly and put it up for sale.
Amazing. So that is would you call that the roadmap then? Like, how would you characterize how you see things playing out, say in the next 6 months to 2 years, and maybe even beyond?
Well, we have a favorable commodities cycle here now, and gold and copper prices on our side, and it's just a function of the times where we're at now. But certainly, we want to take 1 to 2 years to help define, on the subsurface of what we have at Altaruri and Esperanza and Pucarini. And that's sufficient time. We're well capitalized now for the next 3 years. After bringing in 2 strategic mining companies this year at quite a premium to market. And it's a very unique asset to have in this sector, to be able to have a crack at a tier 1, tier 2 gold project like Altaruri. But what's even more unique is that we also have these strategic partners that have opened up their resources. So it wasn't obvious at the start, but it's obvious now. Like, why wouldn't they want to open up all their resources to help a junior company that they have an investment in move forward? And so that really lends the support and the endorsement to have the community, social, legal, permitting, geophysical, geology from these other major mining companies. Anything they do in-house to support us at no cost for all 4 of our projects. And so that's non-dilutive capital, it'd be at their cost, but it really, it's insignificant on their balance sheet when you think about that contribution to building value. And so we're fortunate and excited about that.
Amazing. So in a couple of lines as we wrap up here, Patrick, what is your message to investors? What do you want them to know about the company?
Yeah, Forte Minerals, we trade on the CSE under the symbol copper gold. So it's CUAU, and at this point we have 80 million market cap. We have $14 million Canadian in the bank, and that's, like I said, sufficient for the next 2 to 3 years for our exploration and social and working capital budgets. We plan on creating a tremendous amount of value from where we're at now and unlocking it geologically and socially at our 4 projects. So things are moving fast now. We've been in this phase here in the last year where everything's growing exponentially as far as advancing projects, permitting them, and the interest in the sector, and it's becoming very competitive. So watch what you're doing, but I think you'll see a quick movement in advancing value in the company.
Patrick Elliott, President and CEO of Forte Minerals, thank you for joining us.